In the heart of Zambia's capital, Lusaka, over 500 stakeholders gathered for the 4th African Business and Human Rights Forum, held from the 7th to the 9th of October 2025 at the Taj Pamodzi Hotel. A pivotal regional gathering, the forum aims to catalyze corporate respect for human rights and sustainability across Africa. This year's edition carries a powerful theme: from commitment to action, advancing remedy, reparations, and responsible business conduct in Africa. Zambia, a landlocked nation of resilience and promise, stands as one of Africa's most peaceful countries, known for its cultural diversity and hospitality. Economically, it thrives on mining, agriculture, and energy. Yet, behind its growth lies a crucial mission: to ensure that businesses respect, protect, and fulfill human rights, especially for vulnerable communities. In 2017, Zambia accepted a recommendation from Kenya during the Universal Periodic Review to develop a national action plan on business and human rights. While a national baseline assessment was published in 2016, the formal implementation of the plan remains ongoing. Calls for swift action, especially within the mining sector, continue to grow louder. Zambia, a landlocked nation rich in natural resources and renowned for peace and hospitality, continues to balance economic growth with human rights protection. Since accepting a recommendation from Kenya in 2017 during the Universal Periodic Review, Zambia has been developing its National Action Plan on Business and Human Rights. A national baseline assessment was completed in 2016, laying the foundation. Yet, the formal development and implementation of the plan are still in progress.
This forum convenes at a time when the government of the Republic of Zambia has taken deliberate steps to advance the protection and promotion of human rights in the context of business operations. The journey to the development of the National Action Plan for Zambia began in November 2017 when Zambia accepted a recommendation from Kenya during the 3rd cycle of the Universal Periodic Review to develop a National Action Plan on Business and Human Rights and to implement it together with the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights. The development of Zambia's National Action Plan is not only a national obligation, but a reflection of our collective commitment to ensuring that economic growth and respect for human rights move in tandem.
But beyond the boardrooms and policy frameworks lie the real faces of human rights violations, where business practices have left deep scars on both people and the environment. Recently, a toxic spill along the copper belt released heavy metals, such as copper and cobalt, contaminating local rivers and farmland. The disaster disrupted water supplies to over 500,000 people in Kitwe, forcing authorities to spray lime across more than 100 kilometers of the river to neutralize the contamination. Activists blame decades of unregulated mining for the environmental destruction, a legacy of profit over people. And in Kabwe, more than 220,000 residents continue to live near an old lead and zinc mine that operated for nearly a century before closing in 1994. Many families say their children suffer from lead poisoning, and they are seeking compensation for the lasting damage. These communities are not just statistics. They represent the urgent need for responsible business conduct, corporate accountability, and access to remedy. This is what the 2025 Forum seeks to address: how to prevent harm, ensure reparations, and protect future generations. The African Business and Human Rights Forum began as a continental platform to advance corporate accountability and sustainability. The first forum, held in Accra, Ghana, set the stage for regional collaboration. The second, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, in 2023, focused on inclusive growth. The third, in Nairobi, Kenya, in 2024, emphasized responsible business conduct. Now, the fourth forum, hosted by Zambia in 2025, challenges Africa to transform commitment into action, to turn good intentions into real change. The forum opened with a strong message that progress must now be measured in tangible outcomes, not promises.
This gathering demonstrates not only increasing agency of our shared mission, but also our unwavering commitment to resolve and to move from commitment to action and from promises to progress. This year's forum's topic, Advancing Remedy, Reparations, and Responsible Business Conduct in Africa, succinctly and firmly encapsulates the essence of the occasion. And it encourages all, as lawmakers, policymakers, corporate executives, human rights advocates, and community members to make sure that Africa's economic development does not come at the price or at the expense of its citizens, its environment, and indeed its values. Africa is presently at a crossroad, and that has been echoed already by many speakers ahead of me. We see tremendous promise. On the other hand, increased investment in infrastructure, agribusiness, and extractive industries, and a revived international focus on the continent's vital minerals and sustainable development. These are all good things. We must promote responsible business conduct. Let us move from corporate philanthropy to corporate accountability, embodying human rights at the heart of the way we do business. I think it was my sister from South Africa who said that observing human rights in business is not just good for the citizens, it is good for the business.
Her words captured the forum's spirit, that economic prosperity and human dignity must advance together.
It is my desire, therefore, that this forum is not just a place where discussions will be done, but a pivotal moment. Let us together pledge to do the following: complete and carry out the national action plans into our businesses and indeed the issues of human rights wherever we do business. Increase the ability of national human rights organizations to deal with corporate violation. And I have to remind us that our director for Human Rights Commission is among us, and we acknowledge your work, madam, but more can be done. Ms. Wong-Nima, we need to continue listening to the cries of our citizens.
Meanwhile, UN Resident Coordinator in Zambia, Beatrice Mutali, said that companies must integrate human rights in their businesses. She went on to say that respect for human rights is not a constraint for growth, but it's a foundation for building businesses that are human rights compliant.
Allow me to reiterate that respect for human rights is not a constraint on growth. It is its foundation. When workers are safe, productivity rises. When communities are heard, conflict diminishes. When ecosystems are protected, prosperity endures. Let us move from words to action, demonstrating that Africa's vast resources can power not only global industries, but also human dignity, justice, and shared prosperity. Beyond compliance, companies must integrate human rights considerations across their operations. This builds trust, reduces risk, and contributes to a more equitable and sustainable growth model.
In a passionate address, the UNICEF Zambia representative, acting in loco, speaking on behalf of the regional director for Eastern and Southern Africa, linked business accountability directly to children's rights.
The importance of this forum cannot be overstated. Business and human rights are too often viewed as separate spheres. At UNICEF, We see them as deeply interconnected, especially when it comes to the rights of children. Everyday business, large and small, shapes the lives and rights of children. As 1/3 of the global population, children are directly affected as consumers through marketing and advertising, and young workers or child laborers, a user of digital platform, and through the environment in which they live and play. Business practices that impact parents and caregivers also have direct but profound effects on children. Take, for example, parents working long hours in the mining sector. When companies or subcontractors fail to ensure safe and fair labor conditions, parents face hazardous environments, unstable wages, and exhausting schedules. This affects their ability to care for their children. Long, unpredictable shifts mean less time for supervision and nurturing of children. And when wages are insufficient or irregular, families struggle to afford school fees, nutrition foods, and health care. In some cases, children are forced into labor themselves, either to supplement household income or accompany parents to unsafe work sites, perpetuating the cycle of poverty and vulnerability.
Southern Africa continues to face one of the world's highest child labor rates, a reminder that responsible business must start with protecting the most vulnerable.
Children are both the most vulnerable to the impact of business and the most powerful drivers of Africa's future. Yet, the rights are too often overlooked in business conversations. According to a joint study by UNICEF and ILO, Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest number of children in child labor, 87 million, nearly 2/3 of the global total. But these issues extend beyond child labor. Environmental degradation threatens children's health. Decent working opportunities for youth remain limited, and the digital platforms present both promise and peril. Our task is clear. Children must no longer be invisible in business and human rights discussions. Together, we can build a future where every child in Africa is protected, empowered, and able to thrive. The choice we make today will shape generations to come.
Throughout the discussions, one message rang clear. Business thrives only where human rights are respected.
Business thrives in environments of peace, justice, and strong institutions. It benefits from free, fair, and inclusive societies. Many African businesses are already embracing this agenda, driven in part by the growing demand for accountability, especially from young people. While stronger laws and policies are essential, businesses must also take proactive steps to prevent harm and address adverse impacts. We need a smart mix of measures: robust legal frameworks, effective remedies, protection for affected communities, potentially affected stakeholders and human rights defenders, and meaningful stakeholder engagement. We have not gathered here merely to be inspired, but to ignite a renewed sense of purpose and a commitment to bold, tangible action. Because good business needs human rights, and human rights thrive where business is responsible. These are not competing priorities. They are deeply interconnected. Together, they form a foundation of a just, inclusive, and sustainable Africa. The Africa we want.
According to Isaka Garba Abdu from the African Union Commission, the African Continental Free Trade Area is more than just an agreement. It's a framework that embodies and drives the African business spirit.
The African Continental Free Trade Area ACFTA agreement provides a complementarity economic framework that integrates sustainability and human rights principles into Africa's trade and investment architecture. By embedding responsible business conduct and due diligence standards using ACFTA, the African Union ensures that continental economic integration become a vehicle for equity, fairness, and shared prosperity. Africa has made significant normative and institutional strides over the past decade. The draft AU policy on business and human rights, currently undergoing continental consultation, embody our shared ambitions to contextualize the UN guiding principle within the African Charter and Agenda 2063. Africa's development journey must remain human-centered, right-based, and environmentally sustainable. The paths we choose today will determine whether our economies empower or exploit, include or exclude, repair or replicate harm. The African Union envisions a future where business in Africa is synonymous with human dignity, transparency, and justice. A future where economic growth uplifts every community and honor every right. Let us therefore use this forum not merely to exchange ideas, but to commit to measurable action to advance a generation of businesses that respect human rights, contribute to peace and stability, and drive the Africa we want.
Strong laws, fair governance, and community trust. These are the foundations of a sustainable Africa. Across 3 days, the forum hosted dynamic stakeholder-specific sessions tackling real challenges. These discussions provided solutions rooted in collaboration, transparency, and shared accountability.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to our lovely audience. And when we talk about human rights abuses in the agri-business sector, we also speak to issues of widespread poverty. I think these come at very different levels, and we have to extrapolate the issues of poverty and try to link them to issues of awareness, which are really at the core, even when we do have beautiful laws that are meant to protect human rights of all the consumers of food.
I know national human rights institutions play a critical role in promoting and defending human rights. But we would be very much interested in understanding what role the national human rights institutions play in the protection of human rights defenders.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll begin with two things. Those are the issues that we look for. The first thing, in order for us to be effective in the way we manage and protect human rights, including for those defenders, there must be means and ways in which people seek for redress. In the same vein, in every society, there must be one who help out those people that are facing challenges and human rights violations.
Thank you. Okay, now let's get into the conversation. We are planning to utilize 40 minutes for the panel to input into the 4 different aspects I have mentioned, and then we shall have the rest of the time for you to also contribute to the conversation. As you can see, intentionally the panel is from government, But in the audience, we have civil society, we have the private sector. It's because they took the lead on the NAPS. So after their views, we would like you to also share your experiences.
As the 2025 forum concluded, a powerful consensus emerged. The time for talk has passed. The time for action has come. For Zambia and Africa at large, this forum marks another step toward justice, toward a continent where business empowers, not exploits. From Accra to Addis, Nairobi to Lusaka, the movement continues, building a future where profit and principle walk hand in hand. Because Africa's true wealth lies not in its minerals, but in its people, their dignity, their rights, and their hope.